If hard work really made you rich, every construction worker, nurse, and night shift cleaner would be a millionaire by now. But the truth is, the hardest working people are often the most broke. And the reason why might just shatter everything you've been taught about money. You wake up before sunrise, clock in, grind through your shift, maybe juggle 2 jobs, and somehow still feel like you're sinking financially, suffocating under bills, debt, and a life that feels like it's running on a treadmill. Fast, loud, relentless, but going nowhere. And the question haunting you every payday is simple. Why am I working this hard just to stay broke? The lie we've all been sold is that hard work alone guarantees success, but that's a myth built to keep you obedient, exhausted, and too distracted to realize the system was never designed for you to win. It was designed for you to keep producing. You see, working hard is noble, but if effort was all it took, single moms wouldn't be choosing between rent and groceries, delivery drivers wouldn't be sleeping in their cars, and teachers wouldn't be side hustling just to afford toothpaste. The truth is that labor, especially physical and service labor, is underpaid because the world is built to reward ownership, not effort. Those who own businesses, stocks, real estate, and intellectual property get rich off passive income, while workers trade time for money in a system where time is finite and pay rarely matches inflation. And speaking of inflation, that silent killer devours your purchasing power every year while your wage stays stagnant. Groceries, rent, gas, insurance, up, up, up. But your paycheck still limping behind. So while you're budgeting down to the last cent, skipping coffee, couponing like a pro, billionaires are gaining more wealth in a single year than most people will in their lifetime, not by working harder, but by leveraging systems, tax loopholes, assets, and compounding returns. And let's talk about debt, because that's where many of us lose the game before it even begins. You were told to go to college, get a degree, and that would lead to a good job, but they forgot to mention the $40,000 plus in student loans that would shadow you like a second rent payment for decades, with interest adding insult to injury. Meanwhile, credit card companies thrive off your survival tactics. Emergencies, holidays, even groceries go on plastic. And while you're trying to pay down $5,000 of debt, they're collecting interest like a monthly subscription to your poverty. Then there's the rent trap. Home ownership feels like a fantasy because down payments, closing costs, and skyrocketing prices put it out of reach. So you rent, and every year, your landlord raises the price because they can. You're paying for someone else's mortgage, building their equity while you struggle to save. And it's not because you're irresponsible, it's because the cost of living outpaces your income every year, and financial education was never part of your schooling. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, constantly worried about car repairs or medical bills or whether your card will decline at the register, you're in survival mode. Your brain literally shifts away from long-term thinking. You can't plan investments or savings when you're panicking about how to make rent. And the system knows this. Stress keeps you compliant. Financial fear makes you afraid to quit, to speak up, to demand more. So how do you escape? First, you have to wake up. Realize that working hard is necessary, but not enough. You need strategy. Budgeting is your first weapon. Track every cent. Know your cash flow. You can't fight a battle if you don't know where your troops are. Next, build an emergency fund. Even $500 can protect you from falling deeper into debt when life inevitably throws a curveball. Then, eliminate high-interest debt. It's the modern form of slavery. Those 18 to 25% interest rates are bleeding you dry. Use the snowball method or the avalanche method, whichever keeps you consistent, but make killing that debt your top priority. Once your head is above water, it's time to learn the money game. Start investing. Yes, even if it's just $20 a month. Get into index funds, Roth IRAs, high-yield savings accounts. Understand compound interest. It's not just math, it's magic. Then level up your income. Learn a new skill. Take on freelance work. Start a side hustle. The internet has made it possible to monetize almost anything, from graphic design to voice acting, tutoring to flipping furniture. The more income streams you build, the less dependent you are on a single employer or paycheck. And remember, don't let rising income lead to rising expenses. Fight lifestyle creep like your life depends on it, because it does. Instead of buying the latest gadget, put that money toward your future. Wealth isn't about what you spend, it's about what you keep and grow. Most importantly, change your mindset. Stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner. Ownership is the key to freedom, whether it's owning your time, your skills, your business, or your investments. You don't escape the system by working harder in it, you escape by building outside of it. So yes, you're still broke, but not because you're lazy. You're broke because you're playing a rigged game with rules you were never taught. But now, you know better. And once you know better, you can do better. This isn't about overnight riches. It's about slow, deliberate, empowered moves that shift your future. You don't have to be rich tomorrow, but you do have to start today. Because the longer you stay asleep, the longer they profit off your struggle. And trust me, no one's coming to save you. But you can save yourself. One decision, $1, one day at a time.